Hello traders, this is Rich from Tradesight. Here's a look at our market preview for the coming session. This is going to be for Wednesday, September 11th, 2013. Well, today we had the ES higher by 13 handles and the NASDAQ side higher by 17. It's good enough for a B minus today. Only a B minus because the NASDAQ side was underperforming the broad market side, and the advanced declines were plus less than 1,000 issues on both sides, if you see on the chart here. So we're going to give the internal measurements only a C minus on the day. With the advance that we saw today, we definitely want to see more than 1,000 issues on both sides for sure, and we just didn't have that today. So let's move on and take a look at the major ES futures, and then we'll move on and take a look at the NQ futures. Alright, so here's a look at the ES futures. We gapped higher on the day. We're able to maintain the gap. So now we're kind of in this area here, this gap window that we were talking about. We actually did close this gap, if you can see the cursor. So that gap is closed. We can take that off the to-do list. The next level to the upside is going to be the 1687.50 area. Then above that, it's going to be the previous high, about 1703. To the downside, key support is going to be the rising 50 and also the 10 EMA, so it's kind of a dual area there with the 6/8 level where it lines up with the 10 EMA having a little bit more support because it's kind of a double-sided area there. And here are the NQ futures. The NQ futures were higher on the day. Again, most of it coming with a gap. We did sell just a little bit lower on the day relative to the open, which is never a positive development. So we do have a dark body candle there. So right now we've got a range high camouflage sell signal, and we're below that very important resistance area at plus 2/8 at 32,003. So we did get this burst to the upside, pulling away. This is going to be a problem for the market until we clear on a closing basis this 3203 area. To the downside, key support is going to be your 8/8 level at 3125. That's where the Murray Math box stands tall, and also that coincides with the rising 10 EMA. Here's the 10-day trend. 10-day trend took a big hit today. This is definitely something that's real positive for the bulls because we never got that oversold reading, which would have been at 1.35. So we're really starting to spend some energy here to the upside. If we get to the 0.85 threshold, that's when we're going to see the bulls run out of gas. Right now they do have momentum, but as soon as they get to that 0.85 threshold, then they're going to be out of gas and on warning for reversal to the downside. So we're moving that way very, very rapidly right now. This is definitely a chart that we need to be on top of. The S&P TLT cross is back cleanly into this risk on channel. Also note here that we did make a new high on this move. We could push up here to the upper area of this regression channel before we run into an overbought condition or an over risk on condition, probably more accurately. So that's definitely something we need to be on watch for. But for now, this still has this positive trend. We did break out and pivot and recoup this regression channel. So for now, we're back into the midpoint of this channel, which is definitely a positive development. Looking at the multi-sector daily chart, the biotechnologies here in the red or at range high. We'll talk about that chart a little bit more. The semiconductors had a very strong day, and the banking index was also fairly strong as well. The XAU still below this key breakout area right here at the cursor at about 410, 411, and still a source of funds. All right, so here's a look at the sectors ranked from best to worst. The airline sector was a top gun on the day. Transports were pretty strong as well. Top gun for the NASDAQ side was the semiconductors, as we talked about before. Bottom of the list today was the gold and silver down 3.5%. Really poor showing there. But there's definitely some other interesting things kind of in the midpoint here. So let's drill down and take a look through the individual charts, which we haven't done for a couple of days now. Here's a look at the XAL, which has had a really strong couple of days. We've broken above here, and we've now broken through the static trend line. We're only 6 days up here, so that definitely puts this this previous high in place. Look at the range that we've covered here in the last couple days. It's really been pretty extreme. If we break out, the next level to watch is going to be 62.50, which is going to be your 8/8 level on the daily Gann box. The BKX pivoted higher, but is still basically in this down channel for now. We are back above the 10 EMA. We're basically lateral here for a number of days, but we're just now today short-term positive again, but still below that 50 DMA, which keeps the signals fairly well mixed there. The XAU is the last laggard. We dropped down here to find support at the 50 DMA. The 50 DMA is lost. Next support is going to come in about 93.75, and then very, very important support is going to be right here at the static trend line, coming in about 89 or so. But the one that's really interesting, and I think that we need to really be on top of for the next couple of days, is going to be the BTK. BTK pushed out to a new high. We've got this very strong expansion candle to the upside, but we've got this candle where we essentially closed unchanged on the day. BTK on the day was just very, very slightly positive. So it's an important development because we're not going to wind up at the risk of a trend termination candle. But keep an eye on this because we're coming up into this 8/8 level at 22.50, which is going to be key resistance. Other things to take a look at: oil futures today had a pretty nasty session. We dropped down to that 50 DMA, and we have this 13 exhaustion still in place. So that's definitely still being felt on the market. To the downside, 103 and an eighth is going to be your next support. Key resistance here is going to be the high watermark of this move, with the high close here about 110 and a quarter, 110 and a half, and then 8/8 at 112.50 is going to be extremely important resistance. Moving over to the gold futures. Gold futures are still short-term negative here after having this very, very negative day yesterday. We're just kind of gaming the 10 EMA, but now we're actually starting to roll to the downside. Also, the MACD has a negative cross on it as well. We're going to be 7 days down probably tomorrow, unless we have a real spiffy rally. So we're probably going to wind up getting pretty deep into this count. If we get deep into this count, look for good support and a potential buying opportunity at the 1328 area, or perhaps down at this at the static trend line, just a little bit lower at 1304. All right, folks. As always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for Tradesight.